Hello, welcome to a little bit of behind the scenes. I decided to do this because um, this heist took a long time, and a lot of things changed. A lot of things happened to it um, that I just wanted to talk about. Because why not, right? So you probably got it because of this, and if you didn't and just happened to, pretty much if you die near here, you get shown the little link that you just saw. Anyways, so here's the map, as you guys all know, I'm sure. So let's just start off from the start. The whole idea of this map was pretty much around the back. I knew from the get-go I wanted to make something with the bank, a familiar place and a fun place for Beta 2 players. And it started off as a bank, and then, I thought, okay, I want to progress throughout the map. Started as a bank, then it turned into the nightclubs. Nightclub was number 2, which, as you can see, was pretty tight. And then, actually turned into the warehouse, I believe. The warehouse was pretty early on, although it went through a lot of changes. The original plan was just to go through a door, and there's the teleporter, and the teleporter goes to the vault, which has the Pack-a-Punch in it. But then I, had an idea of the Easter egg, and that involved the vault. So that idea was scrapped, and then I had an idea with the crystals, and then they were trying to be held in this warehouse, because this warehouse is connected to another ERF station. So yeah, the warehouse became pretty early on, although it looked a lot more dull than this, which I know is surprising. One, there was like 3 rows, and then it went even more out, and this whole area right here was all out here, and it just didn't look good. I just pushed it back together, and then Sora ended up adding this addition, and the forklifts, a little bit of dynamic, added the lights. He just made it look good. That's kind of how most of the map went. Is I put the base framework, and then Sora made it look good, and then except for the bank and nightclub, those two were Wolf. Wolf actually got a little bit of mapping in because Sora was busy. He actually helped helped fill out this area and made it a little bit more full. All the chairs you see here are actually added by Wolf, and pretty much everything in here was Wolf. All the tables, all the bottles, this whole area, I think I made that, but everything else except for the walls on the roof and bottom are Wolf. And so yeah, I went from the warehouse, which was just this area. I hadn't actually designed this before. This was really disgusting. You'd walk down, so this wasn't a door, it was like and this event here was never a thing. At the start, you'd walk up and move a bookshelf, and then go downstairs into a completely concrete bunker, which had pretty much just this room and that. Decided it looked terrible, and at this point we hadn't really put a story into the whole map. But at this point we were like, we can connect it with the Ascension Eclipse storyline. So that's an idea of like a lab connected to them. Their lab broke through, and so I actually went to their Sora's map and copied the assets that were in there. As you can see, this looks exactly like their map, and then laid it out like this. And the whole break room was actually inspired by the break room in Sora's map, and this was also inspired by the models that were laid out throughout. But then when we changed into this, I needed a little something to be here, so I made this little event here where you hold it off for a minute, and the whole idea of 4 corners and then the main one actually came straight from Call of Duty, the best map, Shadows of Evil. That hurt to say. Shadows of Evil, how you grab the 4 worms, and then you go to the Pack-a-Punch and to build it, pretty much. And that whole Pack-a-Punch event is what this is, the equivalent of. And then after that came the idea of the bus station here, which oh yeah, Wolf also did decorate this. I think I made the walls, and Wolf pretty much put all those buses down, put the walls up here up. He actually did all of the ambience, all of the surrounding buildings, all of this stuff, except for that was Sora. This was also Sora, but he did a lot of stuff. And originally, before, this was a completely different area. It looked absolutely disgusting, and you'll be happy to know that this is the favorite outcome. And actually looks good. Before, it was if you've ever been to a Greyhound in Canada, it was pretty much just seats and a concession counter right here, and the door. And then this is just a main office, and the bathroom was the same. So the bathroom and the office kept the same throughout, although Double Tap used to be in here. But then we changed it into this because no one else agreed with with my thought process, which I gotta admit I'm thankful for, because this looks way better. So I scrapped that, deleted all the chairs, and then added an office in here, which is supposed to be an office for a bus company, as you can tell. Yeah, we added the office here, and then that was pretty late on. The latest additions to the map were a remake of the store, the bus station, and the warehouse. The bus being first, store second, and the warehouse last, which in my opinion look the best out of the 3. The bank looks alright. I filled out certain areas that this wasn't here before. This used to be a lot more empty. This office was completely empty. But to me, they feel a lot more empty and not as well made as other areas. As for the store, this was also a pretty late addition because, sorry, sidetracked. Pretty late addition because Stamina Up was made a couple weeks before launch. Although the plans for it were since walled. And then this guy right here, if you guys have never found this guy, I doubt it, but his gunship came from Finsternis. The idea of a gunship Sora had since that map, and he figured out he could implement it pretty well into this map, so he did that. Right, and then the store. The store used to look really ugly. Not at all like this. Used to be just looks like pretty much just like this. That's that wall right there, and then you'd go in and it was just a box. And there used to be an electronics store, so there is fridges, on aisles, computers, and then little counters for the cash registers. That didn't really look good. It looked really, like I said, boxy, and no one really liked it. So I kind of just scrapped the whole idea and went looking around in the unit files, and I found this, and I was like, you know what, this could work. And the original idea for this was that it was going to still be the computer store, But then I was like, you know what? If I just put in the jewelry store, it would look nice. So I just made it exactly the same. As you can tell, it's literally one for one, except for the side areas. It's a little different. This back area actually was here since the beginning. Minor things were changed, like the safe used to be in here itself, and that whole wall was covered with a different scaffold. And this office was also added. This safe was moved into here. So, in my opinion, these look a lot better and a lot cleaner than the other two. Those two right there. So let's go back to the story. If no one really understood, pretty much it's connected to the Eclipse series, of course, and it's right after the last map, Ascension, where you take off in a helicopter with Alpha, and in the intro is when Alpha was there. Anyways, movie cliche, he turned into a zombie because he was a little too close to the ground for too long, and turned into a zombie mid-flight. The crew handles him, and then the crew, of course, jumps out, lands safely. This whole plan of a helicopter being crashed right here pretty much was stemmed from the get-go of when we decided to connect the two together. But this was actually a very late edition. We had a lot of troubles with the helicopter. We couldn't find a correct unit that didn't have moving propellers, didn't have noises. It was very difficult. We ended up finding one. I don't think it's its exact same model, but it's close enough where no one will really notice. And then the map used to be a lot cleaner too. Sora did a went through the entire map, made it all dirty, added all this debris here, because it just didn't really feel like an apocalypse. He also went and made this entire environment, as you can see. It looks very apocalyptic with ashes falling down and the red, burning sky. And then he had the helicopters that fly over past. It used to be just a very dark blue heist, kind of similar to Eclipse Research, but a little bit darker and a little bit more blue. But he really sold me on this look. So I'm gonna move on to the idea of the Easter egg. That idea kind of was there for a while. I knew I wanted to go to an Easter egg. And around the time before Finsternis came out, that's when the whole connection of Finsternis and Broken Arrow and all the other maps were tied together. That's when that idea came from. So this isn't a plan. This was a plan for a while. And for a while, this map, I always wanted it to be where you were gonna nuke the city. Originally, it was gonna be, instead of you teleporting away, that we would teleport a nuke here and we would bring out the nuke to outside and protect it, much like the charging with the crystals. We would do that, and that would be kind of like a semi-mini boss. The idea was scrapped as I went to kind of realize what I wanted to do with this map. And okay, so let's start from step one. I talked a little bit earlier about how I wanted crystals in the warehouse, right? And how that crystals were for this company, the lab right here. So the whole story about it is right here is these people being less humane than most companies. They went and blackmailed all of these businesses over here. They're all connected. Blackmailed them all and pretty much forced them to be the middleman in their transaction, and they would get the crystals. So that's why there's a crystal on each area. This girl over here, Simmons got a briefcase was handed to her from like left on the bus, and was handed to her, and she was told to keep it here overnight and it would be gone by the morning. Of course, that night didn't really turn out to be what anybody thought it would be, because that night turned out to be this night. This guy over here got into a little bit of trouble and was pretty much allowed to be wavered if he did this drop. So he was too scared, and he got his assistant to go out and do the drop, like the manager of the place, and put the drop right over there on his desk. So that's what this is. This guy right here actually already had the crystal. His crystal was a very prized possession that he actually found, and the lab, the Eclipse people kind of were detecting it, so that's why they tried to sneak in, and that's why these police are here. So it didn't really work out, and so it was kept in here, and since that, they were kind of getting breaks in. He locked his door on an external power source, which is out here. I know, kind of obvious, right? And this guy right here, his was a little bit different. This guy's blackmailing, because they could order one shipment with the crystal, but their thing was they didn't just need the crystal; they also needed electricity, just raw power. So they had a little deal with Richard over here, and pretty much if someone came in, ordered for it to be done, he would transfer over power from the bank to here to allow them to do tests on the teleporter and stuff. And in turn, he was given money, because that's the only thing he really cared about, of course, being a bank owner. So I knew for a while that 4 corners, 4 crystals. The crystals were gonna be actually elemental. This one being electricity, for its obvious reasons. Wait, no. This one was ice. It was ice. Because I had no idea, and I just thought cold hard cash, so I put it as ice. This one used to be ice. This one was wind. This one was electricity, because it's an electronics store. And this one was fire, because the music is pretty fire, right? I hate myself. That was a terrible joke. Anyways, that scrapped, got turned into just normal crystals, but was actually kind of kept into the end here when the 4 crystals light up. They light into 4 little colors, so they're the 4 little elements. It's a little sneak peek into what we used to think, but they're not really assigned to specific ones. There was going to be a whole plan of the staff's margins. It's a very ambitious plan that we were going to put them in here, and each area was going to have 3 items: the crystal, and then 2 more. I actually still have some objects set up for like where they're going to be. Like one object was going to be up here, because you can climb all the way up here. One was going to be in this. One was going to be in here, and out in the bus station. Over here this changed, so it's not relevant, but it was going to be in this box right here, and there used to be an ambulance outside, and it was going to be in that. And here was going to be, I forget where, but I knew it was going to be something on here, something in here. We kind of realized custom projectiles do not work. We had a lot of ideas for wonder weapons, a lot of ideas for cool things, and they all got scrapped because they just didn't work. They would crash. at least for a client. As a host, it worked perfectly fine. Like our bow, the Broken Arrow bow, that was a late addition to the map. Seeing as how it was the compound bow, which came out pretty recently for Payday. The original idea was it was going to be like the major ultra wonder weapon, specifically for this map. And when Sora first made it, he made it so when it was upgraded, it would shoot RPG rockets, and it was pretty sick because you could just tap it and it would slow fire at a really slow speed like that, and hit something. You could run faster than it, and it was pretty neat running faster than RPG. But as a client, crashed, and then it turned into when you would shoot the ground, it would Molotov it, it'd be an area, and it looked really cool. Again, didn't work, so then it turned into what it is now, where it's you hit an enemy and it lights on fire. But because we had that problem, we could not make the staffs. This is, kind of sad, but, worked out in the end. Actually, an early idea for the four was going to be from Durize and Drak with their bows. We were going to port their bows over and do the exact same thing as before the staffs. But that changed. Right, the whole idea right here. If you didn't know about this, then you're gonna get a lot of Easter eggs. Spoilers for you. There's a little music Easter egg in here. I'm not going to disclose how you do it, but this idea came pretty early on when people did not like the fact that Wald did not have a lot of music. So I thought, let's put a DJ station in here. You can change the music, and then it'll play map wide and stuff while you shoot zombies. This is pretty early on. I was a little ambitious. I made like 20 songs. I found like 20 songs to port into here, but then that was too much, so I dropped it to 7. There's 2 little secret ones. One I won't really talk about. You'll probably figure it out yourself if you played the last one. The one is all the way over here. Little who's who over here. Which, if you're on the Discord, you probably know that we quote this little sometimes, who's who. But back when Sora, Zidane, and I all played Zombies and Black Ops 3, and we played custom maps, which had who's who, and we made it a meme. So pretty much, if you just, at one point this lights up and you can do stuff with it, it'll give you the who's who song, which I knew for a while I wanted to do. And another little Easter egg, which I had an idea for a long time, but it was a little bit different, was this little bottle right here. So you can do something with this bottle. And for a while it was going to be just a bottle of each perk, and they would be laid out in here. If you shot all of them, they'd give you a free perk. But I realized that if you shoot a bottle, if player 1 shoots a bottle, it breaks for them, but for player 2 it's not broken, so we could not sync it up. It didn't work properly, and not to mention giving the perk was a little bit difficult to do. So we scrapped that, and I ended up making just this bottle right here, and I put into this little tub of blood, which if you didn't figure out already, the zombie blood gives little hints. So this gives a zombie blood, so you can hear what those hints are throughout the Easter egg. Then there was going to be one more Easter egg in this map, which didn't really work out. Our asset man, Zidane, had a very busy semester of school, so he didn't do too much of the assets that he really wanted to do. One which was a woo gum that we post about on the Discord sometimes. So it was going to be scattered around. It was going to be like 5 or something, I don't really know, throughout the map. And you would go and shoot them all, and it would give everybody a free upgrade to their gun. So this MSRA here, which wasn't in Walt, I actually made this model specifically for that Easter egg because I didn't want people to have to find a weapon in the box just to do an Easter egg. So I made this right here because this was going to be used. You'd buy it, and there would be a gum right here on the counter in the laundry store, laundry mat. You'd shoot it, and it would trigger. And you would find some more, which I didn't really have plans for where they were going to be. I only knew that one for certain. But sadly that fell through. And so, like, if you can't tell already, a lot of things were planned, a lot of things were scrapped. A lot of additions, like the cameras that you watch at the end game, the point transfer system in here. This is all of us. This is a lot of us was just on a whim. What could we do to make this map better? That Sora just coded so much for. He did some really cool things. And but yeah, a lot of things just fell through, and I think pretty much all the developers of the four of us got very busy at times, which is why this map took a little bit longer than planned, because originally it was just going to be a small little bank that you can do zombies in. That I had an idea to do that years ago when the editor first came out, but Sora, when Wald came out, Sora really showed me that, like, my edition sucks, so I scrapped it and started working on this, which thankfully this whole zombies project really brought new friends, Wolf and Sora, which we've developed with and talked about a lot of future plans to do together. Yeah, while we're still all in school and still have life outside, like a job, this map was really hard to do, and that's why it took a little too long. A lot of additions were changed. Thankfully, I decided, I should say, that I really gotta work on this. I really want to finish it, because for a while I was the main one working on this. So I kind of put like an end date of I want to do it before the new year. And just before December, I was like, yeah, we can do it. So we pushed ourselves, did a lot of things. Most of the things you see right here are because of November and December. Like this helicopter, all this stuff up here that wasn't there before. All the lighting, just a lot of stuff was because of this crunch time that we did. In the end, I think this is a really awesome big project. One of the biggest maps, I think, in Payday, custom map wise. And well, like all the music that Wolf made, he literally made how many songs? He made this one, this one, this one, this one. He made 2 songs for this. And he made Warehouse, and he made the round time and intro and outro, and he did not the outro, sorry. The outro was taken from Call of Duty. No, outro was actually from here. It was originally from Call of Duty, my bad. As a placeholder, we had a Call of Duty one. Yeah, he made a lot of songs for this, and very thankful for them because they actually sound absolutely amazing, which hopefully sometime near launch, or at least it's planned. I don't know if I should talk about this, but it's planned to have all of the songs become heist songs for Payday, as a little song pack. So I'll look forward to that. And so that was Wolf's Man Jamas the music. Sora did all the scripting and helped tidy this up for me. I did most of the mapping. Zidane came up with a lot of ideas. Like early on, he really did help with ideas and helped decide about what the story was. Because he's a pretty good writer, so we had some crazy ideas early on that he kind of went like, I don't know. So we kind of kept this on track, and really pushed us to go towards this. And as you can tell, it really worked out, and I hope that everybody watching this enjoyed the little behind the scenes. It went a little bit longer than I thought to make this, but I just started rambling, and yeah, that just is not a good idea. But I hope you enjoyed the map. Enjoyed seeing the process behind making the map, what we thought of to do with the map, and stay tuned for more, because we still got ERF to make. Yeah, thank you.